Hello! It's Sunday evening. It's about 8:15 at time of recording this in the UK. If you're listening from outside the UK, let me know in the comment section below where you're listening from. This is more of a listening video, not so much visuals, but more listening. So wherever you are, I always love to hear where you guys listen from. I know most of my core audience is based in the United States, but I know there are others that listen from elsewhere. So it'd be amazing to hear where you are listening from. So let me know in the comment section below. I always enjoy hearing that. But I didn't have anything planned this evening, and I thought, let me just kick back and talk to you guys almost like a podcast. I haven't got any sort of time frame for this video, so no one can say that I'm clickbaiting. But I haven't got any sort of time frame in this video, nor have I got, much of a script, in fact. I just know that I want to talk to you guys about something that you've been asking about since we uploaded SmackDown Live this past Friday. And that question that you guys have been asking me is, where and when is Universe Mode WrestleMania going to be uploaded? So I want to talk about that in detail. And before I do that, I think it's best to give a little bit of a shout out to a set of creators who have done so much for this community. And if you enjoy things like Universe Mode, you are sure to have enjoyed FAM, Forever a Movement, also Unite, which was their latest production, if you will. But FAM have decided to step away from the community for a little bit. I have had the opportunity to meet some of the creators of FAM, Rombuster, Black Heron, there was a few others as well. And it was great to meet those guys in America. And the effort that they put in, I just want to say, well done, guys, because I watched Inception and wow. I mean, some of the sequences that those guys put together are second to none. Some of the match moments that they put together as well, they are fantastic. And the reason why I wanted to big this up is because if you take my Universe Mode, me and my brother are creating this, and we're working together like side by side when doing this. Whereas if you think about FAM, imagine the work that it takes when people are living in different places. You're having to trade up content. So for example, you've recorded one thing, but actually someone else needs to do a bit of work on this, and then someone else needs to do a bit of work on that. Can you imagine the organization and the effort it takes to get that full show, which at times I think was pushing like 3 to 4. I don't know if they did 5 hours at one point, but these shows are big old shows, and it takes a ton of effort to collate and pull all that footage together to make one crystal clean show. Clear, clean, whatever. We're just talking. So I want to say a massive thank you to those guys for all of their contribution to this community. Rom, well done. Black Heron, everybody else who is associated with FAM, thank you very much for your work. And hopefully one day you do choose to come back to the community and continue to smash it like I know you always will. Dashing Delzinski, Broken Delzinski, they were really enhanced characters with FAM. I'm not entirely sure if they really lived up to expectation, but that only makes me think, what can we do for 2K20? What can we do? But anyway, I just wanted to put a big shout out to FAM before we talk about the topics at hand, because like I said, this is really a video where I just want to kick back and talk to you guys. And if you enjoy this sort of format of video, then let me know in the comment section, because sometimes it's just good to talk about things. Now, in terms of Universe Mode WrestleMania, like I said, FAM would take quite a long time, but I appreciate why, because the content has to be traded up and people have to do certain bits on it. Very difficult task. Also managing all those people, slightly different with me and my brother. But in January, or December. Yeah, it was around about December. The last pay-per-view that we uploaded was the Royal Rumble, all the way back last year. Pretty sure it was December. And we were moving towards WrestleMania. We'd already, contacted a few people that we needed some work done for. There was a few things that we were setting into motion, and things were looking good. So we were under the expectation that we would have WrestleMania out pretty early at that point, shortly after, I'd say January, February, maybe even latest March. But it didn't come off because my brother wasn't very well in December. That went over Christmas into January. And it's been since then quite an up and down time. Now, we're now getting back on track, which is really good. But with that being the case, I just kind of had to think, well, I don't want to put any stress on him at the moment. I want to take a step back from Universe Mode because, not by choice, and also it wasn't just a case of taking a step back completely. There was plenty of stuff to be done behind the scenes in preparing for WrestleMania. So it wasn't like, look, everything has come to a grinding halt. Not at all. But I didn't want him to, try and get stressed out creating this, because creating a show like WrestleMania is stressful. Ask anybody that creates a big show for Universe Mode. Ask Fam, they don't do Universe Mode, but it is kind of like a universe. Ask Murphs, he will definitely for sure back me up on this. It is stressful, and not just that, with WrestleMania, I'd say bar WrestleMania, the most difficult pay-per-view to create is the Royal Rumble. Then second from that, I'd say Money in the Bank. But those are because you have specific things that you need to work out, like how to make the Royal Rumble match work or how to make the Money in the Bank match work. With WrestleMania, it's a completely different task that you're tackling. In fact, all you're tackling really is to make the greatest spectacle that you can offer when it comes to Universe Mode. So that's not much, is it? Of course it is. It is, because we all have expectations and we all have standards and we have levels. And for us, we want to give you the best show we possibly can. So when all those things were going on behind the scenes, it was not possible to work on and give you the best show we possibly could. So I had to work on other content, but I want to give you guys an idea as well of the things that we were looking at behind the scenes that has brought us up to this point, because I can say that at the moment now we are back on track, and that's why I'm not setting an indefinite time or date for WrestleMania, because I would say to any creator of Universe Mode, if you set in stone a time and a date and you miss it or you're not ready, one, you will just get bombarded with, where is it? You promised it, you failed us. And two, if it's unrealistic, just don't go there. I mean, if you're unsure and you think, look, we might not make this date, then simply, give your audience a heads up way before time so they know. And that's why I don't want to commit, because we've done this before and then we had to push back the date. And because of the fact that we've had delays and things like that, which were out of our control, but they were delays nonetheless, I don't want to then say this is the date and we're not ready. And I think that from my perspective, I would rather give you guys the best show where I've checked it over. It's all come together how we wanted it to. And then we put it up and we say, look, this is, and I'm going to use this word because this is what I want it to be. Whether it will be that, I don't know. That's on you guys to tell me. But I want it to be a masterpiece, this. I want it to be something that you guys remember in terms of a Universe Mode high from any creator. That's the standard. That's the bar that we're setting here. Regardless or not, if you like my commentary, I want you to look at the show and think to yourself, you know what? that was cool. There was moments in there that we don't know how you put that together. There were things in there where we didn't expect you to do that. And there were also special moments as well that just simply blew your mind. And if we can get, a couple of those moments in there and hopefully achieve that, that for me is going to make me super happy. And it will be something that I'll remember on YouTube for a long time. Wherever this journey takes me, I can look back and think, you know what? We made sure that WrestleMania was on point, because I've only done WrestleMania. Just remember this. I've been around quite a long time, but I've only done WrestleMania once before. And that was all the way back with SNME, Saturday Night Main Event, which, some of the long-term fans of my channel will remember. And I'll tell you what, when we were doing that, I remember talking about this with my brother just the other day. I hated some of the graphics, and I also could not stop tinkering with that arena that we created. Now, I think in the end it came out, and I'd say, it looked quite good. But I was never 100% on that arena. There were things with it I didn't like, and we went with it. Whereas this time round, by good God, I don't know what I was saying there, but whatever. By God, the creation of the WrestleMania arena that we've created now, it was, again, another painstaking task. Colours, things that we had to think about. Now I'm going to kind of give you some hints and ideas here of what we thought about. Like, for example, we had two venues that we wanted to use, and one of which was the US Bank Stadium, which is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which ties into Brock Lesnar and his home state. And so the Vikings play, it's Viking Stadium. And so we wanted to make that theme being the yellow and the purple. Now, we have used the purple, which was going to represent the Vikings NFL American football team, but then we didn't really want to go too much because, of course, this is wrestling. So the arena went through, many changes, many changes, so many changes. And then just to give you another really interesting insight, which I'll probably talk about in a future video once WrestleMania is out, maybe some of the issues that we had. But we put the arena together and it was complete. And then we started recording some cutscenes. And we found that because we were using a custom arena, that some of the things we wanted to do would no longer work because of the constraints of the game, which simply were, being honest, bugs and glitches that really shouldn't be in a WWE game. So we were like, so we put all that effort into this arena, a custom arena, and now we can't use the things that we want to because actually there's just issues with the game. Like, for example, a certain cutscene didn't behave the same way in a custom arena as it would in a normal arena. Just tremendously frustrating. So we had to take a step back and think, look, do we edit the arena, or do we find a workaround for the cutscene? What do we do? Now, it's safe to say that all of that has been sorted, but the arena itself, unlike SNME, I'm now very happy with. And one of the things that we did do a long time ago, there's so many things that we've almost built in behind the scenes, and then they haven't really been seen visually yet. For example, the WrestleMania logo. We worked with a designer to create the WrestleMania logo. And again, it was to tie in with Minneapolis, Minnesota, Viking Stadium. If you look at the WrestleMania logo, that is completely custom. You'll not see that WrestleMania logo unless someone pinches it on any other WrestleMania. And if they do, well, we'll be coming after you. But, that WrestleMania logo is custom and unique. And we asked the designer to basically try and have the Viking approach. So if you look at the WrestleMania sign on the ends, they're almost like horns. And that's because, again, it's trying to relate to the Viking, but it was meant to be subtle. So we didn't want to plonk a Viking hat on the logo or anything like that, a bit like WWE have done with the pirate logo, which I like, by the way. But we wanted to keep it very simple and very subtle. So, we'd got that sorted a long time ago. We did, and it was actually created, the designer is OTE. So if you're a long-term fan of universe modes and WWE games, you will know who OTE are. Look them up. I mean, they are one of my inspirations for creating a universe mode. Absolutely awesome. But we worked with them to create the WrestleMania logo, and we had it ready a long, long time ago. But we haven't been able to really show you what we've done with it in terms of applying it to arenas. You've seen it on the match cards, and you've seen a little sneak preview of the graphics, which have been adjusted just a tiny bit for the main show. But we did all that. We'd got that logo ready quite a way away from now. And other things that we were thinking about and we had prepped and planned and secured. And these are things that do take quite a lot of time. So if you are creating a universe mode, and apologies if at times I'm rambling, but there is no real script for this video. Like I said, I just want to kind of sound off everything when it comes to WrestleMania without giving anything away. I just want you guys to kind of maybe kick back. If you're heading to work, you can listen to this, and it's really, to maybe clue you up on the process of what we've done, and also just to give you some insight, because I know you have been asking. But things like securing the music for WrestleMania. Now, in most of the other pay-per-views that we've done, probably haven't really gone to the lengths to secure too much in terms of music. We maybe use one song, whereas at WrestleMania, we secured a theme, which you'll be hearing more of very soon. You probably heard it in the background when the match cards have been shown, but you haven't really got to hear it in full force. You will when we drop some promos very soon. Hint, hint, hint. But, we had to go and reach out to these artists. We had to say to them, what we wanted to do. And it's not quite the easiest of things to pitch a universe mode to a band or an artist. I mean, you kind of have to say, well, I'm a YouTube channel, I have this and that and the other, and hopefully that will be enough to let them and secure them to use the song. But you need to get written permission. I like to go about things the right way. You've seen how I do things in MOTU. If you want to, be clued up on copyright, you can check that out via the MOTU series. But it's not, it's a waiting game. You have to kind of, you ask, you wait, you get a response. If that response has more questions, you go back, and then, hopefully they'll agree to it. And that's not to say that it will actually be copyright free, because we actually tested one of these out. So we got the permission from the band, everything's good. And so what we did was, and this is a great tip actually for you guys, look, I'm compiling MOTU into this as well. But if you think, I'm not sure if this is going to work still, even if I've got complete and utter full permission, best thing to do is to simply, take 2 minutes of the song, plonk it into a blank video, or maybe a video with some footage in, doesn't really matter to be honest. Just upload the song and see if it gets claimed. And if it gets claimed, check who's claiming it. If it's not the band or the agent of the band or someone associated to the band, and it's something like, it's always these big companies that are trying to claim these the rights to the music, and then if you go and appeal it, it'll get released. But upload it like that, and if you see that potentially you're going to have an issue and it is a company which has no relation to the band, is claiming it. You've then got to think in your mind, do you want to have that full blast in your WrestleMania show? Because, look, you're then going to have to get that cleared. And it can take up to, I think it's 30 or 60 days for, whoever is claiming it to respond. And so then if you're monetizing the video, it will be frozen. The monetization will be frozen. You don't know if they're going to approve it anyway. They might actually reject it, and then your video's in limbo. But, with all of that in mind, if you check it out and you do that little tester and you still get an issue, then you need to sort of think to yourself, look, do we want to have this full blast? And if you don't, then you do things like with the commentary, you talk over the song and all those other, clever bits that we've talked about in MOTU to avoid getting a full-on copyright claim from this bogus company that will be trying to attack your video. And that's the best word to use, because it is, because they don't have the rights. So, we've checked this out, and we've actually found that even though we have got full permission to use a certain song, there is this company that are claiming it. And so we're thinking, well, this is how we balance it out. So we've worked out a way to use that song, but it's not going to be going full blast. We might use it for the promos because we'll appeal that claim, and they have to release it. Let's face facts. But they might not, but I'm pretty sure they will, because we've got written permission. And that is the thing. You must get written permission. And if you've got it, then really, they're bang to rights. But the YouTube copyright system, I've told you this before, it's not fair. It's on the side of these big companies. It's not on the side of the creators. And it is an issue. And YouTube need to look into it. I saw the other day, like I said, I'm just kind of speaking about, my experiences and what I've seen. I saw that Susan, who is the YouTube CEO, I think it is, she said that they're going to be working with UMG more, and they are Universal Music Group, I think that is. But they are, notoriously bad at claiming content of creators, even when they don't have the right to. So it's a bit of a concerning time that YouTube are going to partner up more and do more work with, UMG when they're detrimenting the people that really, I'm not saying that, I'm a huge contributor to it, but you're looking at big YouTube channels that are being impacted by these claims, which are false. And YouTube does nothing about it. They don't. So, we went to the efforts of getting all the music sorted, and we have secured tracks that we like, some for promos, some for the show. And, we're in a really good place with all of that. We've made sure that that's all good. But that took time. That took, I don't know, let's say, even sort of testing it out a little bit maybe a month ago. So, we was working on this back in January. Even though my brother had the problems, I was still working away at getting copyright and things like that sorted. So, been working on that for a long time. So music was a major piece. We also wanted to do things visually and graphically that you may not have seen in a universe mode before. So there are a few things that I think you'll be like, that's cool. That's wicked. We haven't seen that before. And we like to be innovators at times. So there was things that we tested out behind the scenes. We've now got the green light and we think we're ready to go with them. And you'll be seeing these things. But there is just so many things to think about, and even to the point of scripting the matches, because you want to have the matches flow. So you have to think of the order of the matches, where is it best to place a match? Where is it best to have, a match that gets you guys really excited, and then where you can sort of chill out a bit and take a back seat? Because we all know, like with WWE shows, if they don't structure the show correctly, by the time you get round to the main event, and let's just say you had the most epic match before the main event, you're knackered and you're not really in the mood for that main event. And we've seen that time and time again with WWE, where we get to the main event and really the crowd is super flat. We don't want it to be that way. So we've not only had to think about the matches and how they're placed, but also as well had to think about the actual matches, the scripting of the matches. And I might actually show you the listed scripting that my brother has been working on, because I think that is a pretty cool thing. I mean, it just shows where my brother's thinking about some of these matches to the actual extent of what he's thinking in terms of spots and moves and stuff like that. Setting up movesets is another thing. I mentioned that the other day in another video, that we've been working on movesets and what sort of moves need to be assigned to superstars, because the movesets aren't perfect in WWE games. That's another thing. Entrances. And we've been thinking, I'll actually quickly touch on that. We want to make entrances unique. So that's all I'm saying. Oh my God. There's only one person outside of me and my brother that has seen one of the entrances. And when we sent it to that person, they were like, this is pretty sick. So can't wait to show you that. And we've also been working on talking to a few people that we might like to involve as well in WrestleMania. So there's going to be some surprises on that front too. So do you see what I mean? Like, I'm talking about so many things. It's not just play the match, next one. Play the match, next one. We have to collate and build the promos. That's going through, let's say, X amount of episodes from Universe Mode, picking out those bits that we want to use for the promos, then going, and this is what we like to do, it's kind of like, it's kind of pain by choice, because we like to have the sound bites of the superstars in some of our promos, and so we have to go and find them sound bites and something that ties into the story that we're creating. So we go away, we look into it, and then we put that in, bring the footage together, and then you've got, let's say, a 2-minute promo, and you've cut through about, 10 hours worth of footage and untold hours of watching WWE to get the right voice promo for said superstar. So even that, a promo video that takes 2 minutes could take 2 weeks to make. And I actually created a promo for the Kings of Wrestling versus John Cena and said mystery partner quite a long time ago. Again, this was probably around about March, so that's been done since March, and so you just haven't seen it. And I really want you guys to see what I made, because I made this one on my own, and my brother's worked on another one on his own, and we just kind of want you to see it because it's exciting. I was excited when I was watching it back. I was like, yeah, I'm digging this, and that's the feeling that I want for the whole show. So that's why I don't want to kind of like commit to a date, fail the date, or actually succeed on the date, and then you guys see it and think, man, there's problems with this. You should have maybe took a bit longer. So, it's coming, but it's still a work in progress. And where we're at the moment is promos, I would say, I'm going to give you some percentages here. I was never very good at math, to be honest, but promos are all being worked upon. So promos are, I'd say, about 80% done. They've been started, we've collated what we need, but we haven't quite fine-tuned them or polished them yet. The arena is made and done. The show itself is being worked on. So the matches are underway and being put together. We've secured the specialties that we wanted, which is excellent. Anything else in there as well that we've been doing? Music was fine, I covered that. Graphically, in terms of transitions, replays, all that stuff, it's done. So it is really more now about us focusing on the show and putting the matches together, which is time consuming, but it's not as time consuming if you've got all the other graft done behind the scenes, which I'm happy to say that we have. If we hadn't, attires, they're 80% done. Oh, and there's some wicked attires, by the way. I'm just bigging it up myself. I shouldn't be doing that, because if you watch it and it lets you down, then you're going to moan. But no, there is one particular attire that I really do love, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. It was again a discussion which we thought that sounds like that could work for that superstar. So I'm quite hyped. And some of the entrances as well, man. I think I've already touched on this, but gonna blow your mind. But yeah, so pretty much to sum it up, we are now in that match creation stage. And I think, like I said, I just wanted to sit here and kind of talk about it. And I'll probably talk about it again if you are interested after WrestleMania. And just kind of then I can really elaborate on the actual issues of the show creation or some of the problems. I've kind of given you a bit of an update as to how we've got to this, but in terms of the match creation, I haven't really given you any sort of insight into that. And it'll be easier once the show is out and done, and maybe like a month or so after we could talk about it, because then I can say, well, this specific spot took X amount of time, or this specific entrance or this moment, and you can kind of then understand why things took the time they did, and maybe you'll understand the allocation of times for matches, because we have thought about that. We want to keep the show to a reasonable amount of time. We're not doing a WWE 8-hour show. Oh my gosh, could you imagine the upload? And that's another thing. These shows are so big that when you actually, that's what she said, when you upload the show itself, I mean, processing time could be like almost close to a day. And do you know how depressing that is when you're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and it just says processing. Very frustrating. And you wait and you just don't know. You don't know when it's going to go. And that's why you have to plan wisely what time you schedule for a premiere, because if you go and premiere it and it hasn't finished processing, it don't work. That's another tip. Don't do that. We've done it before. We did it with an episode where we thought it was going to work. YouTube decided to throw its toys out the pram. The episode didn't process. And so then when it got to the time for the show to be premiered, you guys are sitting there ready to watch it, and it doesn't work. And all it does is kick on an hour and kick on an hour and keeps on going until the show has processed, and then it will just release it. So it's great, that, isn't it? No, it's not. So, you have to give yourself this like wealth of time to make sure that you get everything done, and then you schedule it and you upload it, and it all goes, and you can then sit back and think, we're good. And you're probably best, in all honesty, even though it probably is like painstakingly frustrating, watch it all back. Like once you've uploaded it as well, watch the whole show, because you probably already watched it once after you've exported it, but then you're gonna have to watch it again just to check that YouTube didn't mess it up. So it's still all those still those lovely things to come. But I hope this kind of gave you some insight into the ins and outs of creating a WrestleMania style universe mode episode, because I think it does make it more clear than, because I do get quite a lot of comparisons to a certain YouTuber, and it's not Murph's, by the way. Murph's is a legend. Murph's universe mode is on point. That's why we love Murph's. Yeah, he's a dude, he's a top dude. But I get a comparison to another universe mode, and I've got nothing against the universe mode itself, but when I get that comparison, I'm like, it's so different. Like you can't compare it. Like we're scripting matches, we're actively playing as the two superstars and planning out a spot that needs to happen for a certain point in time in the match. If we're doing a triple threat match, we're actively controlling those superstars to make sure one's in, one's out. There's no botches. I think the closest you'll ever get to watching a botch would have been the Battle Royal, because couldn't quite control that. But we've also made some plans for that. We've also planned how we're doing that for WrestleMania. So you'll see how that works out, and whether you like it or not. But that's different as well. But what I'm saying is, to just play the matches through universe mode, the in-game version, is so different to what, say, myself or Murph's YT13, Math Wiz, those sort of guys, this is much more intense. This requires a lot more work. So when you get that comparison, you're almost like, you can say which one's your favourite, each to their own, but appreciate that they're different. Appreciate that with what we're doing, it's much more intensive, because you're not just letting the CPU determine what happens, and then you have a cutscene that makes no sense at all to the universe mode episode. Everything makes sense because we booked it. You know, in these other universe modes where you're just playing it through, we didn't book it. You know, the game booked it, and then they just went with the flow. And then the matches will have spammy moments and things in it. That's great, each to their own, but we don't like that stuff here. You know, we like to do it differently. So, you know, that's why I think that when you talk about this sort of stuff, it gives you guys a bit more of an idea of what it's all about. And when it's all done, it's the best. Like, getting to see your comments and you guys saying, oh, we dig that moment's awesome. Like, the stuff we've been doing with Ric Flair has been very fun. I've loved doing that. It was sort of like a half idea with me and my brother. The cage was come from my brother. He was like, maybe we could do something like that. That could work. And then we got the cage. And yeah, you check out SmackDown this week. You see how it all kind of unfolded. Who knows what's going to happen next? But that was a really fun moment. I think the Nakamura Brock Lesnar build's been really good as well. You know, I don't think you guys are quite expecting what's going to happen, so that's awesome. And also, actually, I'll tell you one thing. I was quite surprised. The actual United States whole triple fatal, you know, the mix-up with those guys has been really good fun to put together too, because it's all kind of bouncing around. You're not sure what's going to happen next. And I think if you looked at that on paper, you'd be like, Jeff Hardy is the favourite. But is he really, after what happened with KO? So, you know, there's all those sort of things to think about, and it's been an exciting thing to see. And when you get to see you guys react to it in the chat, and that's one thing I will give credit with the Premier system, is that when you're seeing that live and people just, like, you know, comment and say how they feel, it's nothing better than that, because that's what it's all about. The interaction and the engagement from you guys, and hearing you're excited about these moments, hearing that you guys saying, look, this is better booking in a video game than current WWE. Could you please book WWE for me? I'm here, WWE. Give me a call, please. I will book something for you. But, you know, when you hear that, they're the comments that, you know, thank you very much. So, you know, when it gets there, it's awesome, but there is a lot of stress that comes into it. I think we're over most of the stress, but we are working on the matches, so I say that. But yeah, so anyway, I'm kind of waffling now. I've been going for, like, I don't know, about 30 plus minutes. But like I said, this is almost like a bit of a podcast for you guys when it comes to talking about WrestleMania, Universe Mode, and all that. And if you like it, you know, if you enjoy this, it's very simple. I just get in front of the mic and I talk to you guys, and like I say, I hope you guys interact with me in the comment section and throw me up some questions. And there was one other thing I was thinking about maybe doing. If you guys want a piece of history when it comes to WrestleMania, I was thinking about maybe utilizing the logo for t-shirts, but that's just a thought. So I might put that on there. So if you are interested in grabbing one of them, they would be like limited edition, because we'll probably never use that logo again. So, you know, you see it for that show, you'll have a piece of history. So that might be something as well. If you like the idea of that, hit the like button and let me know in the comments. But yeah, I was thinking about maybe talking about what my favourite builds have been in a future chat with you guys. But first I'll see how this one plays out, and if you guys actually digged it and stayed for the whole duration. If you did stay for the whole duration, put wow in the comments. That's all you have to put, because then I'll know you stayed to the end. If I see no wows, I'll know. And so will Owen Wilson, because he likes to say it too. But anyway, I hope this helped you. Like I said, it gave you a bit of an insight into the process. It also gave you an idea. And like I say, you guys have been asking, where is Universe Mode WrestleMania? And my response to that is, it is coming. And as long as there are no other obstacles, like any other issues, it's the priority now. I'm going to work on other videos at the same time. We have to keep the content rolling. I hope you guys understand that. But that's the priority. And you're going to see, right? It's not like going to be now. It's not going to be no universe mode stuff now until WrestleMania. Actually, there's a ton of universe mode stuff for you to see, like the arena reveal, the match card, the full match card, promos that we've worked on. So it's really going to get you excited and hyped. And then by the time we've got through that, boom, the episode will be out with the kickoff. That's another thing. And you guys can kick back, relax, and we'll watch it together and hopefully have a few beers and a good time, because that's what we want. So Universe Mode WrestleMania is coming. And if you're looking for content, otherwise, whilst you wait, we will have plenty of content in the build to WrestleMania. So it's going to be very, very exciting indeed, from promos to the match card. I've already mentioned all this, I think, already, but plenty of content. But if you're looking for something else too, whilst you're waiting, then I have actually started a 2K story. And it may be a case that some of you have missed out on it because it doesn't mention universe mode, but it is like a mini universe. And it is an AEW story, and it's almost about the power struggle of AEW coming along, WWE not being happy with it. We've already seen Triple H rock up at Double or Nothing, interrupting Cody Rhodes and his epic throne entrance. If you haven't checked it out, I'll link episode 1 in the description so you can go see for yourself. But if you like universe mode, but you like it condensed, then maybe the 2K story for AEW is going to be something that will interest you. I'm not entirely sure how many episodes I'm going to do on that, but it is a series, and the more traction it gets, the more likely that I'll keep extending it. But it's only just kind of started. So, it could be something that goes for maybe 10 episodes, but if it does gauge more traction, then it might have more. And it's just something really that the reason behind it is because I wanted to do something that was a story, but make it a bit smaller than universe mode, less intensive. And I actually am really enjoying using some of the creations that people have made for All Elite Wrestling. So it's actually quite fun as well. And just a little bit of fresh content for the channel. So if you want to go and check that out, you can do so. But there is going to be plenty of WrestleMania goodness in the build to the grandest stage of them all in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the home of the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. And of course, we cannot wait. WrestleMania is coming. So, there you go. I was just kind of doing the hype thing right at the end, but yeah. Anyway, see ya.